Turn your ship around. Evacuate your engine room immediately. And you see all these guys running out of there. Now, they're 5 miles away, and one shot into the engine room, blew up the engine room. The ship stopped. They used tugboats, and then we landed on top of it. On top of everything else, we then land on top of it, and we took over the ship. We took over the cargo, took over the oil. It's a very profitable business. Who would have thought we were doing that? We're like pirates. We're sort of like pirates. But we're not playing games because, you know.
We love our honest president. We do. It's like the Iranian government should stop making those AI Lego videos because really there's no propaganda they can put out that's better than what our president's putting out, you know? It does get said a lot, but it's beyond parody. You want beyond parody? Okay, hold on one second. Mr. Trump, sir, this is, it's actually gonna make things worse, sir. Good title, good title. What are the oil prices at right now? We've driven Brent back below 110. Probably the futures market's kicking it up right now, huh? Brent's at 108. Okay, they're trying their best, you know? The wizards back at the Treasury Department are trying everything they can. 108 last I checked. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Trump doing girl math again? I love it when he does girl math. No, hold on. This is more appropriate for our next segment, okay? Hold on. Our president and his melting brain. No, we can open with it. Yeah, go for it. Girl math.
And I said, well, I do well on things, so let's do it. And I got everyone right. And these are tough questions. These are tough questions, you know. They say, take a number. And
oh, no. I have to open with the context here, okay? Because the girl math subject was not here, because the preceding clip is even better, okay? So, as we all know, doctors at the White House keep giving Trump dementia tests because he is very addled. And he keeps bragging about it because nobody around him has the courage to tell him that's what it is. So
all over Minnesota, all over California.
I know he's done this before. I think this one might be his worst one yet in this genre of Trump posting.
You see what we're coming up with in California. Gavin Newsom is not good. But he gave the worst interview a month ago. Did you see it? Where he said he was incompetent, he can't read, he can't write, he can't do it. He said he's horrible for testing. We should give him a cognitive test. I took 3 of them, aced all of them, by the way. 3 of them. You know, I'm the only president to take a cognitive test because I don't think Obama could pass it. I don't. Didn't he get into Harvard with a C average? I don't know. What's that? I don't think he could pass it. I don't think, well, Biden isn't. Give me a break. You know, the first question is very easy. It's a lion, a giraffe, a bear, and a shark. They say, which one is the bear?
I know it'll never happen because our media is cucked and Israeli, but I would love it if somebody could ask him to draw a clock. I need somebody to ask him to draw a clock.
And everybody says, oh, 30 questions. Everyone says very standard. It's a very standard test, but very tough around those last 10 questions. Not too many people, even in this very room, unlike...
Why draw a clock? It's a typical sign of testing somebody for cognitive decline if they can try to draw an analog clock. So 12 at the top, 6 at the bottom. Draw a clock at a certain position. You know, draw it at 2:10 or something. I genuinely don't think he could do it.
I'll say, this room of geniuses. He said, I'm in a room of dumb people. That was not good. That was not good. You know what happened to him after that? It wasn't a pretty, but I'm in a room of brilliant people, but a lot of you wouldn't have been able to answer those 10 questions. And when I got the score in the test, the doctor said, wow, I've never seen, you know, you have 5 doctors lined up. They're all over the place.
Yeah. So now we get into the girl math. because he's really talking about this for a while this time, you know?
And I said, well, I do well on things, so let's do it. And I got everyone right. And these are tough questions. These are tough questions, you know. They say, take a number, any number. Okay, I'll take 99. Multiply times 9, okay? Divide it by 3, good. Add 4,293, that's good. Divide by 2. Subtract 93. Divide by 9. What is your answer? Now, they go a little slower than that, but not much. I don't want to waste a lot of time. But there aren't a lot of people that get it right. I got it right, you know. It was actually longer and more complex than that. But no, it's a tough test, so I took it. And then...
I really want to... Like, I do resent the fact that historians are going to lump me into an era. I'll be long dead. But they'll be like, oh, this was the era where the American president spent multiple minutes bragging about the dementia test doctors keep making him take, and every time he finished talking, the crowd would applaud because they have no other response for this. You know, I don't like the fact that I'm getting implicated here.
Everyone said, all right, good, he's smart. He's smart. It's not really smart. It's like, you know what we are, really? We have common sense. We're people with common sense. And I said, well, I do well.
He's been... I don't know. Let's just run the hits, huh?
Lower prices. You know, use the word affordability, but I was the one that received these high prices. You know, it's amazing. I come into office and I say, wow, look at how high these prices are. And the Democrats start screaming, affordability, affordability. They're the ones that caused the problem. I'll tell you one thing. They got one good line of bullshit. That's one thing I'll say about it. They are so bad.
It's a made-up word.
That's where you get it. And also, and you remember when I cut insulin and I got it down to $25 insulin, it was $2,000. And that was before this. That was before this. I'm so glad you mentioned insulin. You know, when I got insulin done, it was at the end of my term and I got it done, but it doesn't kick in statutory.
Do you think he actually believes what he's saying? Yeah, why the fuck else would he brag about taking a dementia test 3 times?
Early for 2 years. And I said, I better win the election. This is going into the second election because what a job I did. And, you know, insulin was at like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. I got it to $25, but it kicked in about a year and a half, 2 years later. Statutorily, you had to wait a period of time and all of that nonsense. So I said, boy, I better win because if I don't, some guy is going to take credit for something that I did that they could have never done. Lo and behold, the election was rigged. And I saw Biden a year later standing up there saying, I did a great job on insulin. He doesn't even know what the hell, he had no idea. And I was standing there seething. I was watching television. You know what it is to seethe? I seethe a lot. But this is one of the times I was seething. Oz knows that. I was so angry. I said, I did it, and I didn't get credit for it. We did a lot of things we didn't get credit for, but I guess I did because here I am, I'm president. I guess I did. So that's what...
I actually can't believe it. Yeah, I know. It's like, again, in a competent dictatorship, Trump would be a figurehead while the administrative state runs things. Think like North Korea, right? But unfortunately, Trump actually does run things. Like, he actually is at the head of the table. People do listen to him, which is crazy. A lot of the bad ideas have been his. Yeah, no, in a competent dictatorship, like, he wouldn't be allowed to actually make decisions. It really is. I know I'm retreading the classics here, but it is a kind of a condemnation of the democracy as a concept. The fact that it's a legitimizing mechanism that kind of like insulates incompetent leadership from the consequences of their incompetency. You look at a guy who is personally authoritarian and exists to facilitate authoritarianism, and he is the world's most incompetent man, but there are no consequences because it's a democracy. If this was a real dictatorship, he would either not be allowed to make decisions or he would have been replaced by a general right now. You know? Like think of Biden, right? Like Biden Biden was nowhere near as mentally bad off as Trump is right now, for sure. Not even close. Trump is a better speaker, but that's it. Like in terms of the decision making, there's no comparison. But even then, like a lot of Biden's presidential decisions were kind of like enforced through a circle of aides who act as the liaison between the president and the press. But with Trump, he's just allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. If it was a competent dictatorship, they would have that same like buffer. They would have those liaisons. Yeah, it's crazy, really. TBH, this wouldn't be possible in other democracies either. Yeah, true, but this is the end state of democracy under capital, right? Authoritarianism in everything but name. You have a guy who represents nobody but himself in the capital class, you know, tiny fraction of the population. All of his behavior and actions are unpopular, but the system insulates him from the consequences of his actions. Again, any king or emperor at this point would have been deposed by their underlings, right? If you were a king and you were this crazy, you would either be not allowed to make decisions like he was in his first term, right? In his first term, that was a competent expression of a Trumpian presidency. Trump will say stuff and then all the people around him will go, okay, okay, and then they just won't do it. That's what happened his whole first term. That's why he is such a hard-on for loyalty in his second term, because in his first term, all of his, you know, viziers just didn't listen to him. They just wouldn't do what he said. They would hide info from him. But now, you know, no one's stopping him. He just brags about his fucking dementia tests. Is there any precedent for this in 19th century leadership? I am making a controversial claim, but I think it's true. I don't think that there has ever been a democratic leader, a leader in a democracy, that is as cooked as Trump, who has meaningful power. Usually when a person is this far gone, they have no real power. They get blundered out for TV interviews every once in a while. They make very few appearances. I don't think there's a comparison here. I genuinely think, because like, yeah, Reagan in his second term was very far gone, but there was like a competent network of people around him who did the real work. Yeah, I can't think of a comparison to this. If I knew more about history, maybe I could summon one, but like certainly not for a country as big as America. Not for a country as influential as America. No, not even close. You'd have to go after like a small, relatively irrelevant country to find behavior this eccentric.
Just about as well in Iran, but I don't like talking about it until the
U.S. is at North Korea levels. Again, I have to remind you that, for one, North Korea has never been run by a dictator as crazy as Trump is right now, and two, if they were, the generals underneath him would be doing the work, as they do now to a large extent. Also not a democracy, but like, yeah, it's...
Jobs are finished. Let's not talk about anything until it gets finished. But think of it, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their whole place is gone, and then we get people to say that we're not winning. You know? We get the radical left to say, we're not winning. They don't have any military left. It's unbelievable. It's actually, I believe it's treasonous. Okay, you want to know the truth? It's treasonous. Just about.
Crazy. We're just playing the hits right now, man. Just watching it happen. I'm sorry. The commentary can only go so far.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. No, please. Anyway, so they don't love me too much in Mexico right now, you know. That's why guys like me are in a lot of danger, you know. Consequential people get in a lot of danger. You know what I'm talking about. Saturday night, it was good for one thing. People are loving my ballroom now. That's the only thing. They love my ballroom. They love my ballroom. It's going to be the best in the world, although I like the one at Mar-a-Lago very much too, Mayor.
I guess it's good. So much of his attention is being taken up by this vanity project, you know? Makes it harder to do all the authoritarianism stuff. Oh, this one was particularly good. Yeah. Really, really revealing of his priorities.
We're strongly protecting Social Security and Medicare, and we always will. We have a man here who knows more about Medicaid, Medicare, medical crap than any human being. Where's Dr. Oz? Where the hell are you? Stand up. He's great. It's the most boring trip I've ever made. He's telling me about Medicare, Medicaid. All I want to do is take care of you. I don't care. I said,
this is a crazy thing to say right as millions of people are being cut out of Medicaid due to a loss of federal funding.
Work out the details, but I did say give them the max. That's all I care about. Give them whatever the hell the max is. But Oz has been great. You have been great. And Bobby's been great. He's a little different. Do you agree? We needed somebody a little different, and we got him in Bobby Kennedy, right? But they work together.
Room full of the stupidest people on earth. Isn't he in Florida in these clips? That does track, yeah.
It is. I said, no. In other countries.
Oh, he is in this one, the Forum Club of the Palm Beach. He might be in Florida for both, but he's two separate. He's in the Villages, God's Waiting Room. Yeah.
You know, believe it or not, Mexico, who does not like me after the change of the name to the Gulf of America. The president called me up. This is 6 months ago. You know, we have 92% of.
When did these speeches happen? Yesterday.
Waterfront. They have 8%. And I always wondered, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? For a long time, even looking as a kid, I said, well, Gulf of Mexico, it's such a powerful name. It's such a powerful thing, the Gulf of Mexico, but it should be the Gulf of America. I mean, I'll say it only within the confines of this room, because I know that's a lot of fake news back there. Within the confines of this room, Mayor, you're not going to tell anybody, please? I was thinking about seriously calling it the Gulf of Trump, but I really was, but I was told by some very wise people, please don't do this. That's one I don't think would have worked. What do you think? That wouldn't have worked too well. But, you know, it's such an honor to, you look at that incredible, powerful, beautiful, really rich area of water. There's probably very little like it anywhere in the world. When you look at all the rigs out there, all the wealth that's underneath that water, and now it's the Gulf of America. And the president of Mexico.
It's incredible how consistent he is, that when he looks out at the Gulf of Mexico, that's what he thinks of it. That's just, it's genuinely a different kind of brain to me. That's remarkable. The Gulf of Mexico is maybe the most beautiful naval environment in the world. Would that be the right way of, like, just that strip of land and that chunk of water, that you know, that little bowl of soup, maybe the most beautiful you can really get beach-wise, I feel, alongside the Caribbean. Yeah, marine beauty. And he looks at it and he's like, damn, the oil underneath it's worth a lot. It's just a different kind of brain, man. Okay, everyone's going to argue it's their beach, whatever. I'm not arguing with you, okay? I'm not arguing with you. I've been to the Gulf of Mexico. I haven't been to wherever you're talking about.
Actually, a lot of you, but it's not that much. And so we made it 1776. It's just special. I mean, the whole place, it's a special country. But when you look at some of the movies and documentaries about the founding of our country and all of the great people, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Lincoln later, but Thomas Jefferson, all of the original founders, and some of the ones that are least known are actually the most important and the most interesting, actually. But when you look at all, then you have the Civil War. The Civil War was brutal. It was a brutal. I always said, why couldn't that have been settled? And maybe it could have been, but it was a brutal war. It was supposed to last one day, and because Robert E. Lee was an amazing general. You know, I deal with generals a lot. And I ask, who was the best general? A lot of them say Robert E. Lee, because he took something that was supposed to end in one day, and it went 4 years. And with the exception of Gettysburg, that was not good. That was not a good one. It was not a good day for him. But that didn't happen. He would have actually won. They were going for New York, and they heard they were going up.
Where did he get the one-day thing from? The South started the war.
A hill, Harvey, just going up a hill. Robert E. Lee heard that.
I live in Tampa and the Gulf is garbage. Dog, Tampa is garbage. What the fuck?
Stonewall Jackson was killed as great general, and So he didn't have him. He had another general.
It's like looking at a beautiful woman naked and you're judging her beauty by her butt after she just pooped. I don't know how adept of a metaphor that was. Let's move on. Speaking of beautiful women.
Beneath that water, and now it's the Gulf of America. And the president of Mexico called me. He's not too fond of me anymore, but when she heard about it, it was put in some paper. Somebody leaked it someplace always. You always have leaks. When you're in my world, leaks are a part of life. And it was leaked that I was going to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And she's a beautiful woman, a very nice, I never like to talk about beauty because it's usually the end of a political career. If you say somebody's a beautiful woman, they say, what a terrible, terrible thing. Everybody hates it except the woman that you're talking about. They love it. So I won't say she's a beautiful woman, but she's a fine woman.
He loves this bit. It's like the ideological predecessor to the, like, I can't speak or I'm canceled, but he's been doing this for decades, you know? Trump back in the 1980s was doing this bit. This, like, well, they won't let you tell a woman she's beautiful or whatever. Like, that's ever been true for creepy old men.
And she is. And she's got this incredible, beautiful voice, elegant voice. She was a ballet dancer. She's got this beautiful voice. And she goes, President, no, President, tell me, you're only kidding. You're not going to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. No, please. Anyway, so they don't love me too much in Mexico right now, That's why guys like me are in a lot of danger, consequential people.
Seriously creepy way to talk. Yeah, it's almost like he's a serial rapist and pedophile, if you think about it.
Get in a lot of danger. You know what I'm talking about?
It's almost like he's the most implicated guy in the most notorious child sex trafficking ring in human history, if you think about it. Think you might be onto something? You think so? You think I might have cracked the case here? I don't know. How does one manage to talk about the Gulf of Mexico and still manage to sound like a pedophile? Because to right-wingers, all politics is rape. They just want to be the rapist rather than the rapee. It's how they perceive the world. The world is framed through the lens of psychosexual conflict, so... which, by the way, this is very obvious if you look at how they talk. Like, in general, like, if you go on Twitter and you see right-wingers talk, like, it's all rape to them. Like, that's all, it's the only thing that, it's why everything is sexual violence or cuckold porn. It was like the stand-up comedian who bombed. I'm not even playing the clip. You've seen the fucking clip. Dude is like the population of Earth number of views on that clip. The stand-up comedian where the woman in the audience is unimpressed when he does his little crowd work bit, so he's like, starts making rape jokes or whatever. And she's just cold, just fucking mean mugging him, and he's freaking the fuck out. Yeah, that was gross. Thankfully, that guy is now being dunked on by the entire population of Earth. So that's cool. I haven't seen it. Just open up Twitter.
Come on, darling. The mother's screaming like crazy. Darling, I love you, darling. Mom, I can't do it.
I don't know the context for this. I don't want to know. I'm fine not knowing the context. It's okay. Isn't this an old video? No, this is from yesterday. That was yesterday? Yes, that was yesterday. This one doesn't have context. He just did that. He just stared silently into the cameras for 8 seconds before pulling that one out, and then didn't clarify and went on. Probably got applause afterwards, too, knowing this fucking crowd. The Villages. The Villages! God's waiting room, folks. Everyone here, they're dead or dying. Horrible part of the country. It's a big retirement community in Florida. A wealthy one. Trump country. More than that, I saw a documentary where the Villages are swinging. Oh yeah, the people are always fucking at retirement communities. You're like, oh, gross. What the fuck else are you supposed to do? You're like 60 or something? You think you're gonna be done fucking at 60? Like you're gonna hang it up? Oh no, I'm like wrinkly now. I'm gonna stop fucking. You sound ridiculous. Of course they're fucking. It's like dorm rooms, but for elderly people. You? Yeah, you'll be there one day. It's all you old people fucking till you guys see like Meryl Streep or something, and then you're like, oh my god, mommy. You people need to get your chips in order. I hear STDs are really prevalent in old homes. Yeah, because they're not using condoms, because the ladies can't get pregnant no more. And also, they're old, so they're, like, stupid. They especially just say ew women fucking after she turns, like, 30 or something. No, the preferred genre of, like, mommy posting we're talking about here on Twitter are people who will see, like, an anime character who has one smile line right here, and they'll be like, finally, some MILF representation. As though you don't get those smile lines at, like, 25 or whatever. You can also get fucked into death at that age. Sure, but I could, for a guy like me, I could do that. I could do that anytime, basically. Yeah. Better watch out. Better do your damn Pilates before you step up to the plate. Israel claims Syria is 2 weeks from nuclear weapons. Do you have a way of communicating that information to me that doesn't involve clicking on a link from Threads? Is there, like, another medium that we could explore? Scratches you too deep in your chest, weak point, you die. Your lore is outdated. I fixed my costochondritis with the big pop. Now it's lower back pain.